Hey, what's up, everybody? It is TJ, co host of the Now Mind You podcast, and it is currently Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. I'm coming at you with yet a new review of the latest chapter of Tokyo Revengers, of course, by author Ken Wakui. This time we're dealing with chapter 251, titled Get Out of Hand. Now, as always, before we begin, remember there will be spoilers up ahead, so if you haven't read up to the latest chapter, take a pause, come back to me when you're ready. All right. Let's get into it. As always, I like to start with the previous chapter's last panel. So what did we have last week? What you did back then was merely a trigger, Haruchiyo says as he turns his back and walks away from an unconscious Senju. A fallen comrade? The situation turns into Kanto's favor. And what does Sanzu really mean by those words? Let's get into the summary. We open back up on Inupi versus Wakasan Benkei. He is literally trying to smack some sense into them while Coco tries to discourage him. We get to the core of Inupi's frustration with Brahman and Kanto. It doesn't follow the will of Shinichiro, right? What would Shinichiro think if he were alive today, essentially? He closes his monologue with the following. Deep inside, I'm also a first-generation Black Dragon. Always have been, and with that in mind, I put all my trust in Hanagaki Takemichi. Because second-gen Tokyo Manji and first-gen Black Dragon share the same spirit. That's why I will never lose to Kanto Manji. He says as he clenches his fist and Coco looks on silent. We then get a peek into Coco's inner turmoil. Does he save his friend? Why should he? He really just likes Inupi's older sister Akane anyway. Whatever choice he makes, he'll have to live with. Cut 2. Mikey observing the fight once again from the top of the shipping container. And by fight, I mean the battle, right? But this time, we see the legs of an obscured member of Kanto behind him. As Mikey notices the momentum shift, he looks over his shoulder where a familiar figure is revealed. I'll leave it to you, Hanma. Okay, Hanma replies with a level of glee that you can hear. It was dripping off of his voice. Cut to our boys, Hakai, Mitsuya, Chifuyu, and Akun, taking a brief moment to acknowledge each other's dubs, but it's quickly interrupted by an approaching Hanma. Yo, the survivors of death. Play with me too. Cut back to Inupi, Wakasa, Benkei, Coco, where as one would expect, things aren't going Inupi's way. But then, he makes an appeal to Coco that basically pulls Coco out of his indecisive stupor. As Benkei prepares to deliver his final blow, Coco delivers a blow of his own that sends Benkei back down to earth. Coco, says Inupi as Tsundere Coco states, what an annoying guy. Cut back to the shipping container where an unexpected but appropriate challenger confronts Mikey. Pachin. Having fun watching everything from above, Mikey, says Pachin. Oh, it's you, says Mikey. I'll be the one to send you to your end, says Pachin, with some tagging on his face and some visible heavy breathing. Last panels, Don. As Mikey rises, Haruki Hayashida versus Manjiro Sano is set up. Coco is now an ally, and now facing Mikey is his former friend. We end the chapter. Let's get into the review. First of all, we have to talk about the drip coming off that double page spread, which seems to be the counterpart to chapter 247's color double page spread. Sheesh. Sheesh. Right. But also one other random thought too. I didn't think it'd be Coco that would break ties to Kanto first, but I'm happy it was Coco. I would have thought it would be Wakasan Benkei, but I wouldn't rule it out. Anyway, shout out to the continuity in the background once again. You're seeing a lot of Kanto bodies getting dropped. I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's like, obviously the black clothes representing the second gen Toman and the white clothes representing Kanto, right? But it looks like a lot of Kanto bodies are dropping in this fight, and it makes sense with the morale boost they got last chapter. Even with this continued confrontation with Waka and Benkei, we're still not getting the answers we want. Why did they turn? I was low-key hoping this chapter would answer that, but they're saving it for later, right? Obviously, Inupi has literally, was literally trying to beat some sense into them, and you see what appears to be some remorse on their faces. But that question, again, remains unanswered. Once again, they did hit on the similarities, which I've also pointed out in past reviews, between Takemichi and Shinichiro. This has been a constant theme throughout this series. I will once again say that the Black Dragons need to be a key to Toman's victory, especially since we got quite a few active first gen members in this battle as we speak. Yo, shout out to Creepy Kitten 7. She's been asking about Hanma. Well, she got that this week because apparently Wakui has been listening. Hanma has entered the chat. This is going to be a big momentum shift and definitely not in Toman's favor. Let's not forget that Hanma could hold his own against Mikey, even though, albeit he was distracted trying to get to Draken during Bloody Halloween. A fresh Hanma against some slightly beat down Hakai, Mitsuya, Chifuyu, and Akun, who, let's be real, is barely holding on. Listen, RIP to the morale boost that was received last chapter. That's all I gotta say there. Shout out to the power of friendship. That flashback to Akane is significant because she's the reason Coco became so obsessed with money. Let's not forget. Letting her go in his heart was significant character growth. Inupi really did think all hope was lost with that damn right before Benkei was about to launch that blow. But Coco came through and snapped Benkei's head clean around. Still not as clean as what we saw Akun do to Shion in the last chapter, though. That was... Dude. I'll be real. Pachin, making it up to Mikey first, I didn't really see that coming. First and foremost, Pachin, let's remember, does not need to do any of this. I'm talking about joining up with Second Toman. Obviously, he's a loyal dude and respects Takemichi and respects what him and his day ones created back in the day, right, with Mikey. But he was the one member out of Toman who, is essentially putting on a lot of risk. Like, he has a future. He has a life he can build outside of all this gang stuff, right? He's putting so much at risk. And then, of course, the visible tagging on his face, him breathing heavily when he showed up on that shipping container. Like, he's been going at it, man. He's one of the tanks of the squad. I gotta give a shout out to my boy Riolu, stays supporting the videos, but like, he called it out a few times too, right? Mikey had not entered the chat yet. And Mikey's eyes aren't looking as cat-like as they were at some point, right? But it looks like his speech was dripping with disrespect with that, oh, it's you. Like, really, bro? Really? One of your day ones and this is how you treat him? Pachin is tough. But this might be like a one-kick KO with Pachin's head, figuratively speaking, on a pike, just to demoralize Toman. I mean, not to mention Mikey is very aware of the current momentum shift and how it's time to turn the tide since he just released the hound that is Hanma. Potential RIP to Pachin. Why am I saying this? Let's not forget that not too long ago, Mikey killed South during the Battle of the Three Deities and didn't hesitate to piece up Takemichi. I have a real bad feeling. I hope someone jumps in. Maybe Senju. I would not necessarily count Senju out. I gotta give another shout out to Riolu because there's no way Haruchio doesn't notice what Coco'S did, and we know how loyal Haruchio is. My predictions questions, as always, Takeomi, Taiju, where y'all at? OG Black Dragons, y'all are gonna be needed soon, if not right now. I really don't have many predictions this time around. I just feel a massive sense of urgency. I'm hyped for the next chapter, and as always, great chapter of Tokyo Revengers. Can't wait to read everyone else's thoughts. Thank you for all your support. Big shout out to the Tokyo Revengers subreddit, and thank you everyone for giving this a watching and listening. If you like what you're watching and listening to, what you're hearing or whatever, hit up our main podcast and give it a follow at Now Mind You Pod on the gram. Hit me up at Tuss4_skate. That's TUSS4SKATE. Peace out, y'all. Thank you so much.